Hello, my fellow readers. Get out of my camera. Hello, my fellow readers. Is I, Dark Symphony Sansom 7, back with re-ranking my old fanfiction reviews. Oh, we're gonna have a lot of fun because I didn't realize that in 2017 I did 35 fics in in 2018, I did about 70. That's a lot. I think this one, I think a lot of those stories in that year were actually very short. I think except for like a couple. Yeah, I believe it was like, with the exception of a couple, I did like mostly short stories that year. So let's actually start. So we have Fusion of Destinies, the Harry Potter. Oh, like before I get, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the video, and finally, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell for notifications. Let's just get into it. Future Destinies 1 and 2. Oh boy, these stories. The Harry Potter Metroid fanfictions. These are good. I remember this one being good, but this one being amazing. This one obviously better off alone tier. Like this is not even. This one's not even a this one's not even an easy, not even hard one to pick. Future Destinies 2 has, without doubt, probably the best original character I've ever seen in Valkyrie. Had a really amazing plot. The only things I would say I didn't really like was, one, the fights were kind of written as like a video game boss fights and stuff like that, but I didn't think that one was a deal breaker that much, because it was still very entertaining, because it was trying to wear like the Metroid Prime uh, inspirations on its sleeve. Like they got to like very prime locations. Like they went to like the Slytherin lair, which was clearly modeled after Torvus Bog from Prime 2 Echoes, and then they went to the Ravenclaw area, which was like a big mechanical steampunk-esque labyrinth in the sky, clearly based off Skytown from Metroid Prime 3. So the story wasn't even trying to hide the fact that it borrowed a lot of inspiration from the Prime trilogy, but it didn't really hinder the story. What did hinder the story was actually the final fight at the end against Valkyrie, which I think was like really my only criticism in the review. Yeah, it was. It was really my only criticism in the review, because Valkyrie as a villain was built up so amazingly, and only to just kind of have her stand there and just sling spells while Snape is like driving around around Harry and Samus with like an MP5 on his motorcycle. It's like kind of, oh come on, this is lame. That's just lame. And even then, it's only really a criticism because Valkyrie again is so well written, and I don't really have anything bad about that to say. Sorry, I just woke up. I have a long day, and I actually want to record a lot today. So yeah, but Fusion of Destinies 1, that is a different beast, because this is the one that brings Samus to the Harry Potter world, and her and Harry have to team up to deal with the X-Parasites. And I do like the twist that Voldemort is like so desperate to deal with Harry Potter that he's like, I'm music technology. It is a neat twist, because it's like, yeah, it only makes sense if you know. You're only confused like if you know who Voldemort is, and like, oh, I don't like medical technology, so I'm using it here. Oh, this one's tough, because this one's still good. Like I like I think Fusion of Destiny is good. Fusion of Destiny 1 is a good pick. I don't think it's obviously not as good as the sequel. Like that's a given. But hmm, where should I put it? Yeah, I'm gonna put it here. I think S Plus is great. It's just an overall solid story. It has a really solid explanation for why Samus is there. The whole spell, the whole spell. How I'm having a brain fart from waking up too soon. The whole time travel spell, failsafe working. Her losing her memories, her teaming up with Harry to work together to fight the X parasite basilisk. Them, like the whole HPX thing, turning like the whole cameos of Kraid and Ridley. The final fight between Samus and Voldemort was actually well written, and the fact that like Voldemort's using Gryffindor's shield to like basically be able to protect himself from Samus's blast was actually well done. The whole escape sequence, of course, borrowing from Super Metroid. The story, as much as the sequel borrows from Metroid Prime, This did a really good job of borrowing heavily from Super Metroid. No, not Super Metroid. Metroid Fusion. Why did I say Super Metroid? I don't know. Which makes sense considering like the whole second half of the story takes place on like a recreation of the ship from Fusion, so it does make sense. Um, but yeah, I think these two are really solid stories, despite the fact that it's a really weird idea. Just Samus going back in time to Harry Potter to the say when Harry Potter happens, and then just kind of going on her and Harry going on own adventures. It's kind of cool. Shame that we're never gonna get the third story though, because I want to see what happens with Samus and Fred. Samus marrying a Weasley. What the fuck? But yeah, let's go down. Be careful what you wish for. Oh boy, this is another galaxy. Which one's this one? Uh, oh yeah, this is like another mini story. This one was okay. Basically, a well-known crime boss who lives in Paradise City kidnaps Dorothy and tries to forcibly make Roger do a a negotiation with his I believe it's his ex girlfriend scientist who's a scientist, and she has like all this really trippy stuff like medicine and all this stuff that mutates people. And is it? Wait, or is it? There is it. There's the next one. I'm thinking of the next one. Hold on. Yeah, no. I'm actually thinking of both. This is part one. This is part two. Um, a kidnapper kidnaps the guy kidnaps Dorothy. Dorothy doesn't take him seriously because it's Dorothy's like I can just literally slap your neck anymore. But I'm gonna deal with it. Like, Roger has to chase down his ex girlfriend of a mad scientist, and it's very trippy. Again, this is like the previous two stories where there's one to set up the other, but these ones are kind of complementary. You have to, in order to understand this specific plotline, you kind of have to read both. While with Dark and Deadly and Seize the Day, you can kind of read Seize the Day without reading Dark and Deadly. It certainly helps, but you don't really have to. You don't really have to really read the events of the previous story because they're only like distant, kind of related once you get to the end of this one. But in these two, they're literally you got to read both. So which where should I put it? Because if I ever do this one, I gotta go do this one. Um, I think this one's gonna be A. Yeah, this one's gonna be an A. And I think so is Act 33. And I'm gonna put the other one here too. Might as well just skip ahead a little bit and grab where is it? Where is it? There it is. Grab this one as well. Because they're both really good. I just realized that's there. It needs to go. Act 34. Oh, oops. Yeah, Act 34. With little girls grown up, it's basically the continuation of Act 3. Uh, Roger is kidnapped by the scientist. The mad scientist turns out to be his ex girlfriend, and she's really really mad, and she basically poisoned. And then she basically goes hunting after the mob boss. She actually kills the mob boss by injecting with like her serum, and he turns into like a cockroach monster where Roger Smith has to take down. It's kind of gross. Gross. Yeah, this Dorothy basically has to team up with Angel. Angel, if you don't know Big O, Angel's the pilot Big Venus, who's kind of implied to be in control of everything happening in Paradigm City, despite the fact she doesn't want to. She's kind of forced into the position. It's really weird, but yeah, it's a trippy. These two are trippy. They're two sides of the same coin. I don't have anything bad to say about it. You know what? Should I just finish? You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the Galaxy 1Ds. Roger and the Dark Knight. Oh, this is the weird one. This is the one where the author decides to, hey, what if we take the whole anime Batman thing with this anime because Big O borrowed heavily. It was inspired heavily by Batman the animated series from the 1990s. What if we just go overboard with this? And we got this story. So luckily, I clearly remember this one. So Jason Beck becomes Nolan versus Joker. Before you say, bear with me. More or less, Jason Beck gets his memory back, and he goes mad, just like Schwartzwald. He goes mad, and the author basically like every chapter contains like him doing literally a blatant reference to Heath Ledger's Joker. It's weird because one Schwartzwald's kind of the Joker, but again he wanted to do like a really really big Batman thing with this fic because this one does have like events from the Big O manga which kind of continued after the anime but not by much because I think the manga kind of got canceled too. So he basically pilots a Giga Deuce, which is just a Mega Deuce, but like a ton bigger. And I think Roger has to team up with a. I think the only thing I can't remember. Does he team up with? No, he goes alone. And Roger basically has to kill Jason Beck because he's about to get to this area, which actually contains everyone's memories. And Roger's like, well, he gets his hands on these memories, then he can pretty much just take over the entire city and just rule it with an iron fist. So Roger kind of has to do like a last stand against this gigantic mech, which is like applied to be like 3 times bigger than the Mega Deuces. And the Mega Deuces are literally skyscraper height, and that's a Mega Deuce. If a Giga Deuce is 3 times that size, that's freaking gigantic. And the plan was actually really cool. I get it's supposed to be. It's just it's supposed to be like just tying up just that Jason Beck thing because his whole plan afterwards basically just makes Schwartzwald kind of the overarching villain and kind of trying to and kind of going more into like the whole outside the Paragon City thing. So I understand that he wanted to finish kind of get rid of Jason Beck because he kind of like I can't really do much else with him. So let's just turn him into Joker baby and kill him off. It's really good. Like yeah, it's obviously just referencing Dark Knight a lot. But I do think the story is actually good. I'm actually gonna put it as I'm gonna put it right next to Black News of Death. Like this is act. This is 35. Yeah, 35. 35. Okay, so let's get to the next one because there's two left. No, three left. What we really wanted. I'm trying to remember. Oh my god. Oh yeah, this is. I was combining 36 act. Oh, yeah. This is just the second half. This is. I think. Yeah, this is more or less just what I said. Um, it's kind of a bad idea to kind of review this separately because in hindsight, I didn't realize that he was kind of doing like a two-part thing where he makes like episodes that kind of interconnect. So I kind of reviewed this story on its own, but this is one of those things that you kind of have to. This is mostly the fight. This Act 35 is mainly just the setup, just setting everything up for the fight against the Gigadoos. What we really wanted mostly is the fight with the Gigadoos. Is like him getting to the Gigadoos and just finally getting that fight. I wish I knew that you're supposed to read these together and talk about these together, but I can't. This is more hindsight than anything else. But yeah, let's finish this last one. Yeah, yeah. We have. Nah. Yeah, he stopped in 2018. Yeah. So we have More Than You Can Chew. Thankfully, after the whole thing with Jason Beck, it kind of goes back to Act 37, Act 38. Okay. So More Than You Can Chew. This one kind of starts the over. Well, what I'm guessing it was supposed to be the overarching plot for the rest of the series that he was going to write, where it kind of explores the idea that there is another world underwater, hint, hint, that they try to basically usher humanity and try and basically the same idea of Paradigm City because we have Paradigm City who's supposed to be like a safe haven project thing to kind of see how humanity reacts to different formulas. Then you have this mysterious underwater city, hint hint, that try to do the idea but execute it a different way, and both of them kind of failed. And this one kind of starts the idea of that night and day is basically when that story kind of was supposed to take into overdrive and everything after that was supposed to be like just building off that plot. But this one is mostly just there's a new director of Paradigm City Corporation. He does not like that's him because he's kind of crazy because I think he's more crazy. No, not really, not crazy. More manipulative. Uh, it's implied in the second story that he kind of let Schwartzwald out of jail, and Schwartzwald does what he does in this story. Uh, and overall, I think this story is mainly just a prelude to what I think was supposed to be a larger plot line that was planned, but never really took off because the author retired. I'm gonna put it as a prelude for something bigger. I can't really fault it too much. Has its own story. It's a B plus. It's a B plus. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, especially not when you take into account the mysterious underwater city turns out to be Rapture. Yes, that Rapture. And this is where the story jumps the shark, in my opinion. Again, Dorothy and Roger go try and find this city because they want to find out what happened. And then they come across the Batcave. For some reason, it's like all intact. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me. And then they end up because Batman. Then they end up in Rapture. Then they run into the Big Daddies. Then there's a gigantic. Before that, there's a gigantic reference to the opening of Infinite Bioshock Infinite, where Dorothy and Roger become the Twist Twins. And then later, Schwartzwell turns out to control the Big Daddies and is in charge of Rapture. So we were supposed to get like this whole Bioshock inspired arc. And then Big O somehow shows up underwater and destroys parts of Rapture. It's a trippy story that on its own, because we only have to take into account this one story, is such a clusterfuck of a mess that I just can't. Yeah, I can't. C minus. If it had a larger, the plot line continued past this because this story right here was supposed to be a continuation of Night and Day, then maybe. Oh yeah, I forgot something about the other one. The other 30s. Yeah, More Than You Can Chew. The director's plan for Paradise City was try and get Roger to basically take his place. He didn't. He just wanted. It's like, hey, I want you to take my place. They kill me if you don't. That's it. It's a mysterious scent. This way. Oh no, I was too far. Okay. Total Alternate Island by Jason Kruger Mars. This is an obvious better volunteer. This story was really, really good. I don't have like no complaints. This one goes here. Yeah. Total Alternate Island is such a simple premise. Take the canon events of Total Drama Island. You inject 6 original character players. You inject 4 original character interns that are related to canon characters. In this case, the interns are related to Harold, Lindsay, Duncan, and Gwen. Granted, the only one that's like really significant storyline reason is Gwen's brother, Michael. But I like plot relevant related to Courtney and stuff like that. And basically, you gave them these stereotypical personalities. Like you had Jake the Prankster, Andrew the Martial Artist, I'm actually forgetting her name. I'm actually forgetting Marcus is the Tinker. Mara. No. Mara is Harold's sister, right? Crap. I'm actually remembering. I'm trying to remember who the psychologist was. Yeah, the psychologist whose name is eluding me. Then you have Laura and Mar. No, Mar is the singer. Laura, the shy lesbian painter girl, and then you have Mara, who is a singer who falls in love with Laura. And it's really well done. The execution of everything from Ezekiel kind of getting saved in elimination by the psychologist kind of talking to him and finding out that's like the reason I inadvertently did the sexist stuff was because that's pretty much how I was raised by my mother. Because all she showed me was like all I knew of like life outside of my on the farm was the soap opera she owned, which is a really nice touch. It led to Courtney's elimination because everyone kind of felt like, yeah, okay, fine, it's sexist, but he's not being serious about it. He just didn't know any better. Courtney's elimination kind of paved the way for her being the main villain in the second half, where her father literally takes control of the entire studio. He's like, yeah, I'm rigging the game show to have her win because daddy gets with dirty girls. Heather becoming, in essence, for a large part of the story, starting out as like the main antagonist, as is canon, just slowly kind of becoming the main protagonist along with Gwen. Once Courtney comes back, because now Heather is realizing how bad this mindset is, because we're implied that Heather is being abused. Heather was actually personally protecting her younger brother and sister from her father's abuse. There's Jake and his like hilarious rivalry with Chris and Chef, because Chris and Chef are trying to be sadistic, and Jake's like, "Oh, you're being sadistic? Get the stink bombs." Yeah. There was Ezekiel fall in love with Katie. There's Gwen's. There was Gwen's whole backstory. I'm not going to spoil that part because that's like really really significant. And that plays like a big part in the plot in the second half of the story when Courtney's kind of running everything. Their chef's hatred of Andrew, because Andrew's like a military man too, but he's like he was an out home military man because his father was in the military, and he was kind of forced to pick it up. Cody and Lindsay hooking up, Noah getting like a lasting longer. Izzy breaking the fourth wall at the end of the story because her and Owen were like eliminated. It's like, some of us should have actually been in this race. We'll never know who. Yes. The really, really riveting song of 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. The goddamn Griff Ball Challenge. Because, good God, I'm a red versus blue fan, and I still love the fact that Chris literally is like, no, I have these special guests to explain the rules of the challenge. Sergeant Caboose from the popular Red series, Red vs. Blue, and then Jeff completely fangasms like, ah! And then asks Sarge for his autograph, like, can I have your autograph later? Now who here knows of the great rules of the greatest game of all time? Great game of Griffball. And at the end, Sarge basically it wouldn't be a Sarge cameo with him just trying to shoot someone, and he just shoots Chris in the stomach. It's like, hey, pretty boy, take my pellets in your gut. Just killing Chris. It was a riot. It was a riotous challenge. I think it was like the funniest part of the story. Yeah, that was actually my favorite part in the story, just the entire Griffball challenge, because that part was just really hilarious. I just loved it. Especially with like Harold pulling Gandalf, you shall not pass. I always wanted to say that. Can I kill you now? I got a hammer, not for to use it. I'm now tempted to go. I'm now tempted to go back to that story and just read the Griffball challenge. I'm just so tempted. I'm psyching myself up to read it. But yeah, Total Alternate Island was a great story. It kept that same vibe of Total Drama Island, but changed just enough that you can still, that it's a completely different version of events, but still that Griffball challenge. That Griffball challenge. Where was I? Oh yeah. Mysterious Sentence. Alright, so this is This is a story where Mario hooks up with Wendy Koopa. Yeah, the story has that. Yep. Mario gets some Wendy Koopa. Where would I put it? Where would I put this story? Because this is a romance story. It's very basic. Like you have Wendy, wanting. It's kind of the same thing as I said with Heather. Wendy, Wendy's grown up in an abusive household. Bowser is obliged in the story to be something of an alcoholic to and beat up his children. And Wendy doesn't want to be, evil and abusive because everyone else older than her are. So she wants to get her uh, Lemmy, Lemmy and Lenny out of there. So she's basically begging Mario to like just have me live in the Mushroom Kingdom and try and figure things out. Um, she gets arrested by the Toads. She gets let out, but Mario has to keep watching her. But everyone's kind of being very prejudiced towards her. So it's like I'm basically I'm paying for the coins. Mario's like, here's the coins. It's just a candy bar for Pete's sake. And they all beat her. They all attack her, and she's not defending herself because if she does, then she's giving them what they want. Mario and Wendy they go start living on Yoshi's Island. Peach finds out about the whole thing from Luigi, realizing that her own people were like really, really not exactly on the up and up because they're kind of there's Princess Peach is supposed to be like, what? Why are you doing this? uh, there is also that really, really cool sequence where Peach goes against Iggy, and Iggy kind of reveals to her that Bowser killed her parents. I like the fact that the reason that this one kind of explains why Princess Peach is a princess instead of a queen because, well, my parents are missing until we know for sure what was their fate. It's kind of disrespectful to kind of assume their position as everything. And then when she finds out that her parents died, she's like, okay, I'm gonna have. Well, now that I know there's confirmation, I'm Queen Peach now. And of course, she takes off the crown and she literally crushes it in her hand because the crown had a power star in it, and she uses the power star to basically just destroy Iggy's whole army and just basically just stomp on him. It was a really cool sequence. A lot of the characters were really fun to get behind, especially Lenny, who had this whole otaku shit going on. It's like, I am a samurai. And it implies that he hooks up with Peach because Peach is like, no, not really. She doesn't go. She's like, yeah, Lenny basically is like, oh, honor bound and stuff like that. They kind of, there's that. Uh, and of course, the adventure continues at the end where like Bowser kidnaps Mario and Wendy's kids. Is like now instead of like wanting Peach because now that she's a princess, now that she's a queen, he's like he can't really touch her that much. Um, Especially now that he has to deal with some of his kids. Now he's like, I'm just gonna take your kids now. Aha! And the adventure continues of Wendy teaming up with Mario and Luigi and all that stuff. It's a good story. Um, yeah, A plus. It doesn't. Do I really put this below the? No, I'm gonna put this. Mm, do I really put this below these stories? Because at the end of the day, Mysterious Scent is mainly a romance story. I do love it. Yeah. Let's put this right here. I think this is the best plot for it. This is the best spot. Of Glitz and Glory. Oh, this story. Oh boy, this story. Um, this is the weird. This is like a really really weird story. Thankfully, I already know where to put it. let's put it. No. Yeah. It's going right here. So this story is about Bombette, Parakarry, and Cooper kind of bored and wanting to kind of goof off and all that. They decide to go to Glitzville. And because they find out about a challenge that whoever can beat the first person to beat the champion gets like a lot of money. And they decide, well, let's go then. And they basically just go to Glitzville and they basically just compete in the Glitz Pit challenge to try and get the coins. It's a very basic challenge, and there's lots of little in jokes and stuff. The story has like a lot of references to Bowser's Kingdom. For those of you who don't know, Bowser's Kingdom was like a Flash series made long ago on Newgrounds, and it starred a Koopa and Goomba named Hal and Jeff, and they're Hal and Jeff, and just the shenanigans they got up to working under Bowser. Hal and Jeff don't show up in the story, but Paul Hamabro shows up in the story because he runs a pizza parlor. Runs a pizza parlor that the Koopa brothers are trying to rob from, and he basically says, "Oh, now you're stealing the profits? That's it. I'm throwing hammers." I think he basically just attacks them. Cortex is like a really hilarious dick in the entire story. Like there's a part where there's like Cooper kind of goes into the Pinata gambling parlor. It's like, oh, I lost I lost so much money. I wonder who. Why did you keep playing? It's like, I don't know, something compelled me to. And then they hear Cortez in the distance like, I told you, amigos. It's like, Cortez. And he even keeps doing like when they lose to Wario, and like Cooper's like is like slowly like dying from like dealing with Wario after. Cortez is like, no, this ain't grown up. Kill it. I'm gonna kill him. And he basically zaps it with lightning and kills Cooper. Like, maybe I went too far. Nonsense. It's really hilarious. It's a funny story, and I like the realistic ending that they do fight. That they actually end up getting. Oh wait. No, there's one more reference to Bowser's Kingdom. Karate Duo #1 shows up. I freaking love Karate Duo #1. They were like, honestly, they were the best part of Bowser's Kingdom to me. Why do you need awesome power? You eat rock candy. I freaking love Karate Duo #1. We are Karate Duo #1. #1. Wait, how can you be a duo? How can you be #1 when you're a duo? Because #1 being all. It's so dumb. But I laughed. I remember laughing through the story the entire way through. But anyway, back what I was saying at the end. They do end up getting to the champion, which is actually the Yoshi who hatched in Thousand Year Door, who is the Great Gonzalez Jr., and they actually end up losing to him, which is actually surprisingly refreshing because like they were having fun. They didn't really, they kind of saved Glitzer from the Cooper brothers and all that, and Cortez stopped being a dick to them because it's like, nah, I got bigger issues to you than you. But I'll be a dick to you later, amigo, Cortez. And they're like more just, and their battle's like more kind of like, yeah, let's just go for it, yeah. And hilariously predictable, the Yoshi wins because he literally still has the gold star. So he's like, it's like, all right, final battle. There's nothing you can do to stop me. Oh, you son of a! You know what? I'm gonna still beat you. Gets one shot. It does play out in like the game mechanic way because it's still all the fights still behave like Paper Mario, but it's done in such a hilariously creative way that I can't. It has a charm. The only reason it's this low is the writing itself sucks. Okay, let me actually, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Look at this. It's yeah, yeah. You can see it's hilarious, like the Coen Brother comedy, but it's so badly written that I can't get it any higher. If it wasn't for the bad writing, this would probably be here. I gotta put it here. Benjamin them chillins. Okay, so let's see. I think it's fun fact. I believe this was actually the first fan fiction, Benjamin Chillin, that I was actually recommended. Hold on, because I gotta remember what I know. It has something to do with workout. Uh, oh, he's still writing. Okay. Where is it? Benjamin Chillin. There's a sequel. Where there. Yeah. Yeah, so this whole story is just basically Captain Falcon and Little Mac are like, and they get bored of it. It's like, well, this is. What if we do something different? Yes, and then they start benching like the smaller characters. Like you can picture Captain Falcon like in one hand he has Toon Link, and the other hand he has Young Link. He goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ellen Mac is doing like the bench press, and on top of the bench press is like Pichu and Pikachu. It's like, and they're just standing there like, yeah. And then Samus gets involved, and then Mega Man kind of gets involved because he's a robot, and he's like, come on, Mega Man, how strong can you be? Power arm. Oh, he's that strong. uh, I remember, yeah, I remember this story being quirky. I don't think it was, I don't think it was amazing, but it was it was fun. Yeah, let's put you right here. That's where I think you belong. Right here. How long have I been? Okay, so I think I got time for one or two more stories. Oh, I'm going way too far. Yeah. Let's just do these six. Yeah, right here. Misconception. No, let's just start with this one. Uh, as Son of the Head, this story was garbage. It was just a very, very short, very, very uninteresting fic about Amy Rose wanting to ask Sonic questions. It wasn't. It wasn't good. It wasn't entertaining. And those stories taken out, so you can't really see it. Okay, so Misconception by Sandstorm 3D. This story I know. This story, thankfully, I remember clearly because the problem was so pronounced. Thankfully, I already know where it's going. It's going. Yeah, right here. Norm. If it wasn't for the issue I had with the story, it would probably be here. But the story's slow, like glacially slow. Every time when I make, if you actually pay attention to some of the reviews I make, whenever I say something about a story being too slow and for its own good, I'm always going to reference the story and the part in like the near the end when the climax is actually about to start of Buttercup getting distracted by a pile of iron girders, and the author randomly dedicates several paragraphs, not just sentences, paragraphs, to describing the iron girders for some unknown reason. Probably to justify her getting Buttercup getting captured and then eventually getting tortured to like hell and back by Mojo's elite guard. But still, you're in a chase sequence, and you decide, and the author's like, what if I dedicate multiple paragraphs to a pile of iron girls? And that's like, no, that is just that sequence is emblematic of the just the obnoxiously, obscenely slow pace this story has. Like this story is obnoxiously slow, almost annoyingly so, and it's just really really bad. It's a really really bad optics that you have a great plot, you have a great set of characters with the Powerpuff Girls and the Rowdy Rough Boys. Like they're depowered in like a realistic way of Mojo just slowly leaking Antidote X into the water supply, so it's like they don't realize they're losing their powers until it's already too late. And then basically just taking over the world, and then them having to find a group, basically being in control of what's left of the world's armies to fight him. It's a really, really gripping tale. Like it's Misconceptions is a really, really gripping tale of character, of love, of loss, of questioning one's doubt, leadership. There's a lot of good qualities, but it's always, I will maintain that it's always held back by the fact the author decided to just go too slow for his own good. Anytime where something needed to be faster, he just kept keeping it slow because he wanted to squeeze as much character development into everything. Iron Girls! What the hell? I don't know. And as much as I love the story, and I genuinely do love the story, I just can't justify putting in the better FLM tier because that slow pace, as much as he thought it was a good idea, there's a time and place where going just glacially slow, especially since a lot of the chapters are just kind of them just holding patterns and just repeating certain things. It really held the story down somewhat. So yeah, I'll do. Let's see, what should I do last? Oh yeah, I'll do these three stories. Sorry for killing you. Yeah. This is the My Little Pony Teen Titans one. I believe was literally just based off the fact that uh, they were voiced by the same person. Uh, in this story, Raven's kind of revealed to be a Pegasister, and she basically goes to Equestria, and no, I can't remember if she goes. Yeah, I believe she goes to Equestria and revives Twilight. Uses her magic to revive Twilight and basically just begs her for forgiveness. The whole death battle was kind of that battle was kind of weird because it was literally just based on the fact they're both voiced by Tara Strong. It's really weird. But yeah, this story basically just like Raven like realizing that like, wait a minute, I just killed Twilight Sparkle for my favorite TV show, My Little Pony. Oh God, going to reviving Twilight, and I just kind of literally begging for her forgiveness, and Twilight being Twilight's like, there, and then they just become friends. It's very awkward, but it's a story about, it's like, sorry for killing you. Like this story, the name of the story perfectly summarizes the plot. Sorry for killing you. I didn't realize. I didn't realize you were from my favorite cartoon. So yeah, okay. Yeah. And the final stories for these two are these two: Enduring the Evil 1, 2, and 3 by Liberius. So let's get this one out of the way because this one's not going to be much to talk about. Enduring the Evil 1 is D plus. It's not. It's not bad, but it's just so lacking in everything I kind of expect the story to be. Basically, more or less, this story is like a retelling of the first Resident Evil 1, but instead, the Stars team are joined by a bunch of random campers, like literally 7 campers, and they basically get involved in it. Honestly, I'm still kind of baffled at the idea. Even Liberius, because I talk to him sometimes. What realizes that the whole idea of like, the Arklay Mountains are locked down. Let's have these guys go on a camping trip. He realized that's stupid and kind of and introduce Enduring the Evil Zero later down the line, kind of having a better explanation of why they would go up there. Basically, two of their friends, they get wrapped up in the events of Resident Evil Zero, and the rest of the game kind of find out they're somewhere in the Arklay Mountains. So it's like we're basically just going to rescue our friends. I do love the camaraderie between all 7 characters. Alex is a good character. Scott is basically Resident Evil Burt Gummer. I always maintain that fact. He's just Burt Gummer. I don't care if you can spine buster Nemesis onto an airplane. I don't fucking care. You're just Burt Gummer. You're just Resident Evil Burt Gummer. What, am I remembering that right? No, he doesn't. I don't think. No, he lets Nemesis charge into the airplane. Scott does Spinebuster him. But still, the fact that come on, you're delivering a Spinebuster to Nemesis. That's badass. But the reason I'm putting it here is because outside of Scott and and kind of Alex, the rest of the gang is like just there. They're just decoration pieces. They're like not. They don't really have. Like I get they're supposed to be family and all that, but compared to later stories where they kind of build on their personalities and kind of gives them more of the thing to do. This story is very much lacking in that department. So yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say, but I can't justify putting it any higher than D plus because it's just lacking in everything the later stories have, especially since he's rebooting the story because he realizes the story is kind of weird. This story is lacking compared to 2, 3, Code Veronica, and now Zero. Enduring the Evil 2 and 3. So there was actually a very specific reason I had to review this story, and this is the reason why I remember these 2 stories because it's just a unique way of having to read both of them. So in Resident Evil 2, and during the Evil 2, you read the first 2 chapters, and at the bottom of the second chapter, let me see if I can, because I know for a fact during the Evil 2. Resident Evil. Yeah, here it is. Okay. You go down to the bottom of the story. It says, important to continue reading in chronological order. Please read Enduring the Evil 3, chapters 1 to 19. I actually never seen something like this. Even all these years later, I still haven't seen something done like this. That makes the story stick out in its mind so much better. Because in terms of chronological, because of where Resident Evil 2 and 3 kind of line up in the events of chronologically, because Resident Evil 3 kind of takes place throughout like the Raccoon City incident, like from beginning to end, while Resident Evil 2 kind of takes place only at the tail end of the incident. So it makes sense. So it makes dramatic sense why you kind of have to do this. And I have to say, it's executed as good as I think it should have been. Well, as good as it could have been, because there's not much you can do with this. With like trying to present this chronologically, besides having to split it into two stories. But I do think these stories are better. They kind of give us a better dynamic of the characters. They introduce more OCs, and they have better dynamics. Everything is just really good. So I'm going to do. I'm going to put. I'm going to put. Yeah, 2 is going to go here. 2 is going to go here, and 3 is going to go here. And then we might as well end this with Code Veronica. Code Veronica is going to go in all the way up here. Because I do think this story kind of dealt with the one remaining character that was kind of like one of the 3 remaining characters that was lacking, and that was Alex. Alex needed some time to shine, and this story kind of revolves around him. Plus, I like the fact you kind of make Alexei Ashford a good guy. That's actually really unique. I hope he actually keeps that in, because he told me he's going to be rewriting Veronica as well. As I said in my review, I really don't think Veronica specifically should be rewritten. I think Veronica's just fine on its own. But I can't force the author to leave Code Veronica as is. I at least hope the author at least keeps the whole idea of Alexia Ashford kind of being a good guy, because that's actually a really unique idea. I read a lot of Resident Evil fan fictions, and I've never seen one where Alexia is even implied to be a good guy. I've seen plenty where like Wesker's kind of becomes a good guy, but never Alexia, except for this one. So I hope he kind of keeps that idea at the very least. And overall, yeah, you got that. So I'm pleaded. How many stories are left? How many stories are left? I'm kind of curious. How many are left of 2018? I got 57 left. Don't ignore that. Yeah, ignore that. 50. No. Hold on. I'm gonna fix this. There we go. So yeah, 56. So yeah, that is gonna be this part of going through my old backlog. I'll see you next time.